Hi there my fellow notebook enthusiasts and welcome back to the channel. This is the Asus Zenbook Pro 14 OLED, and as the name already reveals, both the screen and the performance figures for the small 14-incher stand out from the competition. While the RTX 4070 in this one is of course something that will cater towards gamers looking for a subtle notebook for some virtual entertainment, the mid-range Ada mobile card also turns the Zenbook into a content creation powerhouse for all you video editors, photographers and graphic designers out there. Nvidia and our German retail partner notebooksbilliger sponsored a section of this review, and we will tell you a little bit more about how their Studio certification can help to speed up your creative workflows later in this video. In addition to the RTX 4070 running at a maximum TGP of 120 watts, at least according to the spec sheet, the sleek Zenbook is equipped with Intel's i9-13900H, 32 GB of DDR5-4800 RAM and a generous 1TB NVMe SSD. Build quality is simply exceptional. The base unit is not flexing at all and feels like a solid block of aluminium. The matte surface feels great to the touch and very premium overall, even though it attracts fingerprints and smudges left and right. The display lid delivers the same quality feel, and given that these Zenbooks are aimed at the creator crowd, who might also have their eyes on the recent MacBook Pros, the subtle branding and overall very clean design is definitely appreciated and very well executed. If you take advantage of every single port the 14-inch OLED notebook has on offer, you might have to deal with a very cramped workspace, but you will hardly miss any connectivity option. On the left, Asus made room for an HDMI 2.1, USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 and an audio combo port. And the right side is occupied by USB-C Thunderbolt 4 and a USB-C of the 3.2 Gen 2 standard. As it should be for a creator-focused notebook, the Zenbook also comes with a full-sized SD card reader that offers very fast transfer rates to offload footage on the go from a wide range of cameras, drones and recorders. While the Zenbook comes with a USB-A Ethernet adapter for easy access to wired networks, wireless transfers hardly offer any reason to complain, and we have been able to measure not class-leading but still decent speeds and stable transfers all around. Asus equipped a sleek notebook with a 1080p webcam with somewhat average quality. It's certainly alright for the occasional Zoom call or your general communication needs, but given the price point and the target group of the Zenbook, it feels like a missed opportunity to implement a better camera. As it has been with the ROG G14, you can access one SODIMM slot within the Zenbook 14's chassis. 16 gigs are soldered to the mainboard, which also means you can only upgrade to 48 gigs of RAM should that need arise for your workflow requirements. And while the Wi-Fi module is soldered as well, you can still easily upgrade or exchange the NVMe SSD. In the input department, Asus gives many different options to interact with the Zenbook. Starting with the keyboard, we are dealing with the same in-between situation as before, where it offers a pretty good experience but still left us feeling that a device in this price range should simply offer a bit more. While travel is decent and overall I got used to this one pretty quickly, the keys feel kind of rattly and unstable. It's not a bad keyboard, but it's also not the best out there. The touchpad on the other hand offers no reason to complain and also comes with an interactive dial in the upper left corner. On the desktop you can use it to change display brightness or system volume, and in supported creative apps it can be mapped with a whole host of additional functionality. Why this works well, I just couldn't get myself to implement it in my daily business since, well, just hitting a shortcut is usually a lot faster. In addition to the traditional inputs, the OLED is a touchscreen supporting an active stylus. You can charge it conveniently with the included USB-C cable, and we know this one already from the Z13. While it is still not the best working position to draw or edit on a laptop screen, it's a great bonus for quick corrections, the occasional color grade or similar tasks that do not require you to work directly on the screen for hours on end. Speaking of the screen, the 120Hz 2880 by 1800 OLED is simply gorgeous. I know I've said it again and again, but I simply love OLEDs, and this one is right up my alley. While the touch layer adds some slight graininess, it can hardly distract from the fundamentally very good overall visual impression. It's also a very welcome change that OLEDs finally get a smoother refresh rate, and this gets very close to being the perfect mobile screen for me personally. Even objectively, the 14.5-inch panel offers a lot to like, and while our measured brightness numbers fell a little short of the advertised 400 nits, contrast, color gamuts and color reproduction are very impressive. Speaking of brightness, this remains to be the Achilles heel of OLEDs for now, since mini LED panels found in the G14 or the MacBook Pros offer a lot more in this regard. But this is just a limitation of the tech in 2023. Maybe we will see an option with the G14 screen in this one in the future. Circling back to color reproduction, while the native profile found in the My Asus app tends to overdo it a little when it comes to saturation, the P3 variant is extremely accurate, and color reproduction does not even improve much further with our manual calibration. Video editors will be very happy with the sRGB profile as well, and overall this is how display profiles should be handled for a content creation oriented machine. Gamers being into very fast games will also have their fair share of fun with the Zenbook, given that OLEDs are unmatched with their response times. On the other hand, they usually suffer from more or less severe PWM, which can be a problem for sensitive users in this regard. Asus addressed this problem with a pretty clever, if somewhat cumbersome, solution to regulate display brightness. Between 60 to 100% display brightness, they use DC dimming instead of the potentially more harmful PWM. And below 60% you can use their software solution in the My Asus app. While we would have preferred this to be part of the Windows settings, it's a great feature for everyone that would otherwise disregard OLEDs because of PWM in general. Alright folks, let's see what the Zenbook can truly deliver. It comes with 3 performance modes that significantly impact performance and fan noise, and Asus carefully balanced power levels in each setting. We did a bunch of general tests to give you a rough idea of what to expect in each performance profile. On the CPU side, the i9-13900H is a very capable performer and delivers excellent performance despite the smaller chassis. That said, the Ryzen 9 7940HS in the ROG G14 or the newest Razer Blade 14 are not that far off and require a little less power to achieve the same numbers. The MacBook Pro 14 with Apple's in-house M2 Pro is left behind quite a bit in our combined performance rating, but given that it sips less than half the wattage of the i9, I would still consider it competitive. System performance is excellent, which is not the biggest surprise given the powerful core components. This is further aided by the fast SSD, which once again does not offer class-leading but still very fast transfers, and absolutely stable speeds without any throttling during our benchmarks. In the GPU department, performance is simply impressive, and we have to hand it to both Asus and Nvidia to cram such a powerful GPU in this one. Given that the 4070 performs at peak efficiency at around 100 watts, the Zenbook can easily keep up with much bigger full-fledged gaming notebooks, and is very well positioned in our 3D Mark rating. Creators that spend most of their days in GPU-accelerated applications will definitely be able to take full advantage of the powerful Ada mobile architecture. And while Nvidia and notebooksbilliger sponsored this section of the video, our Blender benchmarks will give you a glimpse of the real-world performance benefits the RTX 4070 brings to the table in the compact Zenbook Pro 14. Since the Zenbook is a certified studio laptop, it comes preloaded with NVIDIA Studio driver. You can change this anytime in their GeForce Experience software, and while the Studio variant will not give you a tremendous performance benefit, it is tested much more vigorously in leading creative applications for stable performance than the standard Game Ready driver. In addition to our Blender tests, I also did a quick Octane run to give you guys an idea of what the new generation of mid-range Ada cards can deliver. And while the Zenbook is not quite able to keep up with last year's flagship, the RTX 3080 Ti, it is pretty impressive what the RTX 4070 running below 100 watts can deliver compared to its bigger last-gen brother chucking 175 watts. The dedicated hardware encoders for video files also make editing a breeze on the 4070. We use DaVinci Resolve 18 for video production, and we shoot all of our videos on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera in 6K RAW. And the Zenbook is not only able to play back those files without a problem, even doing a full edit with color grading and effects is possible with ease. While timeline performance is usually much more important than actual render times, even those are really speedy, especially considering that we are dealing with a 14-inch notebook here. In addition to those examples, Nvidia's GPU architecture accelerates a ton of additional different tools and functions across a wide range of applications such as Adobe's Creative Suite. I will put links in the description below if you want to dive deeper into everything and how these chips can impact and speed up your individual workflow. While the Zenbook is not directly a gaming notebook, it is definitely more than capable of handling even modern AAA titles at maximum settings and high resolutions up to QHD. With the help of DLSS and frame generation, you can even get close to the display's native refresh rate or resolution, making the 14-incher a very capable workstation and gaming hybrid. In terms of fan noise, Asus tuned the Zenbook quite well. If you want to access the full performance, especially of the GPU, you should use performance mode, even though the fans will of course spin much more audibly. If you can live with slightly reduced overall speed, balance is a very good in-between. We took some noise samples with temperatures across different settings so you can get a more direct idea of what to expect. I also added a little snippet for the very decent speakers. When it comes to living away from the wall, the powerful CPU and especially the OLED keep the Zenbook from winning any endurance awards. With 7.5 hours in our Wi-Fi standard test, it's not really bad, especially compared to Windows notebooks, but of course the MacBook still reigns supreme in this regard. Alright people, let's wrap this up for today. On paper, the Zenbook has everything that it takes to be very close to the almost perfect content creation, workstation, lifestyle, everyday gaming hybrid. But can a laptop really do everything very well without significant compromises in some areas? Well, actually, the Zenbook does get pretty close. I mean, yeah, the fans can get pretty audible if you push the system, but on the other hand, you get quite a bit of performance in return. In some areas like the rattly keyboard and the just so-so webcam, we expected more. But if you put it in perspective with the very impressive build quality and input features, I think Asus opted once more for very sensible compromises through and through. The 120Hz OLED is of course pure eye candy, if you can live with the just average brightness. But with Asus' software solution to mitigate the PWM problem and with their excellent color profiles, this is an amazing screen for both content creation and consumption. Nvidia's RTX 4070 also plays a major role in turning the sleek notebook into a proper performance machine, and the Zenbook can easily fulfill all of your content creation needs on the go without holding you back. All of this has its price though, and the Zenbook is definitely not a budget device. That said, similarly powerful and well-equipped notebooks will run you a lot more. I'm looking at you, Apple, and if you use this puppy for work, I think the price is justifiable. Well, almost. But let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. If you want to find out more about NVIDIA Studio program, make sure to follow the links in the description as well, and as always, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel on your way out. Thanks a ton for watching, my name is Alex, you have been absolutely fantastic and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.